Our Gulf Coast MakerCon 2015 coverage is proudly powered by the Microsoft Store. Go ahead and imagine presenting the thinnest and lightest Surface ever, the Surface 3. The perfect balance of performance and value for students, families, and more. Pre-order yours today or check out all the other latest gadgets at f5live.tv/Microsoft.
A good friend of ours, one of our favorite interviews from another show. We actually mentioned him a little while ago with John Adair. It's an organization that I absolutely love, and I cannot wait for this to get going. Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Welcome back to the show.
I'm having a good time.
For those who don't know, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I am Laird Popkin. I'm with E-nabling, which is a group that gives away 3D printed prosthetics for people, particularly kids.
That's amazing.
Isn't it? It's really cool. So, let people know how that works.
Sure. So there are commercial prosthetics, and they're really great, but it's like $5,000 or $10,000 for example, kids who are born without fingers, or somebody who lost their fingers in an injury. For adults, often insurance covers it, but kids aren't covered by that, and so it's a real problem, because $10,000 every 6 months as your kid grows up
right, exactly.
might be unaffordable.
That's your huge problem, is
stuff.
that kids change sizes so quickly.
Exactly. So the advantage of 3D printing is you can download the design, print it, scale it to be exactly what you need, customize it, and off you go. And the cost is more like pizza money instead of car money.
Right. Exactly. So how much would it cost to print something like this? Assuming you already have a 3D printer.
Yeah. Obviously, the printer's though. So actually, for commercial prosthetics, like I said, $5,000 or $10,000.
Which is a lot of money.
And we're saying more like $50.
Nice.
Okay.
That's a huge difference.
Which is a huge difference, because it's just a little bit of plastic. That's easy. Some screws, strings, and padding. We do want people to get medical grade padding, because you don't want to have cheap stuff on your arm all day. But it's way less, and even that plus the printer still costs less. So
fair enough.
Yeah. Though I will say, you really do want a professional medical person involved in the process,
okay.
like an occupational therapist or a prosthetician or somebody like that. I mean, those people are helpful, but we take the material cost way down, right? And that makes it available in the U.S., particularly for kids, but also adults without insurance. And outside the U.S., it's huge. There's armies of people printing our designs in China and India and Somalia and so on.
Wonderful.
Because we give everything away. It's all open source. So anybody who wants to can download it and print it. And we also have a network of almost 5,000 people now globally that if you need a hand, you let us know. We'll find somebody in your area, hook you up. Yeah, that's intentional. And we'll hook you up, and it's all free, because the volunteers who do all the manufacturing, they just eat the cost, because it's a pizza. So I'm happy to donate that.
Right.
And so it's completely free to the recipients.
That's really cool. So if you were somebody in need without the capability of a printer, how would you get connected?
Sure. So if you go to enablingthefuture.org, you can register there, describe your situation, and tell us where you are. There's a little database that we keep, and we'll match you up with one of those 5,000 volunteers near you who can work with you to take care of you.
Very cool. Now, what about the other way? What if you have a 3D printer and you want to get involved helping out?
Yep. So you go to the same place, enablingthefuture.org.
Excellent.
I'll just keep saying the URL. And basically, you can either say that you're a fabricator, so you've got a 3D printer, you're interested in helping people out, or a recipient. Also, we'd love to hear from occupational therapists, physical therapists, people like that, because we want to get them connected into these relationships as well. So that's it. Either if you can make it or if you need it, enablingthefuture.org, and we'll hook you up.
Very cool.
And all the designs and all the instructions and assembly videos and everything are all there free.
So how many partnerships, how many pair-ups have been made, do you know?
We've delivered at least, I think, around 1,000 hands now.
Okay.
But we really don't know how many, because there's whole armies of people doing this stuff outside
the network.
It's all open source, right? So if somebody in China goes nuts and prints 100 hands, we don't know. Right. So there are certainly at least 1,000 people, but there's a lot more. There have been organized efforts to print a bunch of hands and send them to Israeli and Palestinian kids. and a bunch of efforts like that. So there's tons going on beyond what we do, just sort of enabled by the fact that we give everything away.
Right. That's really cool. How did the organization get started?
Well, it got
'Cause
started.
I don't know that we talked about that last time.
Yeah, so it got started with Ivan Owen and another fellow going to South Africa because they read about the situation there, and they said, I got a 3D printer, I can help. One of them was a prop maker, and the other was kind of a maker dude.
Okay.
And so the two of them went to South Africa, dropped down into the village, made a hand for this guy, just iterated till it worked, then gave all the designs away. And then we're kind of building on that, and Ivan and now a bunch of other designers and so on are part of it. And so there are all these different designs to address, people are missing fingers, partial arm, all the way back to here.
Wow.
All sorts of variations now, and it's continually evolving because, like you see with any open source thing, just the innovative, creative thing. So if somebody's got an idea of a crazy thing to do with a thumb to help with whatever, or a hand that helps you go bike riding or kayaking, they can just do it. And so that's really how it got started with just those two guys, but because they gave it away and opened it up to be a collaboration with the world, like I said, it's about 5,000 people now and growing like crazy.
And how did you specifically get into this business?
So I got involved about a year and a half ago. So in real life, I worked for Black Book Automotive, so publishing company under hers. Nothing to do with this at all. But as a hobby, I'm really into making stuff in 3D printing, and I'm a software engineer. And so I worked on a system we call Hand-O-Matic that's a website you can go to, put in measurements and make some choices, and it'll design everything for you and all the selections. So that way it just makes it easy for mom to go punch in numbers and get out what they need, and they can just go to a local maker space, or even the libraries now are getting 3D printers, which is amazing and cool.
Yes, it is.
So you can just go to the library.
The next interview is going to be a 3D printer that's made specifically for a library.
Which is I just absolutely love the fact that the library, because I used to hang out in libraries a lot as a kid, and then I kind of stopped because of the internet.
Right.
I'm back.
Absolutely.
So
us too.
Yeah. So it's I find I've done a lot of engineering, a lot of 3D printing, and this is the thing I can do that changes somebody's life. The other stuff's cool.
That's amazing.
This is changing somebody's life.
Absolutely.
So,
and not just changing their life, but changing their quality of life.
Exactly. It gives them excitement. It turns the handicapped kid in the classroom into Iron Man, Wolverine, and little girls into princesses and Frozen.
Absolutely.
And all. It's because of 3D printing, it can be completely customized. So, for example, there was a little girl who's really into super girly stuff. So her hand is bright pink with purple glitter fingernail polish, and moons and stars and unicorns and stuff.
That's perfect.
Not my personal aesthetic, but perfect for her.
That's amazing.
And it's hers, and now she wears it like crazy, and she loves it. Whereas if she got a generic prosthetic, it would just be this weird thing on her hand, right?
Yeah.
But because it's hers, it works.
And it shows who she is.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's cool.
And that maybe is as important as the physical aspects of the utility of it, is the fact that it drives the engagement, enthusiasm, and like you saw the kid on TV a couple weeks ago, there was a video floating around where Robert Downey Jr. gave an Iron Man hand to a kid because a group, Jorge Zanega has a research group down at University of Central Florida. I don't know if you ever talked to him, but amazing stuff. And he actually got Iron Man to give an Iron Man hand to this kid.
Oh.
And how awesome is that, right?
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah.
Well, as always, we appreciate you coming on the show.
Great seeing you.
Have a good rest of the show.
You bet. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Okay, I love that. It's we met him at Roboticon either this year or last year, and it's just such a great organization. I'm so glad that the open availability of things like 3D printers are being used for good like this.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful. I'm so glad.